Okay, so we're going to start with this Wile Coyote here, and it's the one I did in class, but we're going to do it here. You'll notice that my 2017 Max is it's a little newer than what you guys have at school, but I did that because the school, like my home Max at 16 wouldn't open the school 16, so I upgraded. So what I'm going to do first is just make a box. I'll grab a box and just make it here on screen, something like that. I'm going to hit F4, which is going to show me my lines. Basically, it's like turning on edge faces right here. If you click here and you click edge face, that's what I did, basically. Only the key command is F4. Um, what I want to do is go to the Modify tab, and I'm going to do the segments. I want the width segments to be 2. I want the height segments to be 3, and I want the length segments to be also 2. So, whoops, back up, 2. So what I get then is I get a box, and I want it to roughly be kind of I could just go well, I'll just leave it here. I'll just make a round number. So like this is 17. I'll just make it 18. 28. I can just say 30. And this one I'll just say 45. So there you go. What I want to do now is I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. I'll go to the side, and if I wanted to, I could take this and let's just take the pivot point here. I'm going to affect pivot only, and I'm just going to take this pivot point and center it to the world. And that way, if I shift drag this thing, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn on angle snap, which is right here, and I can just shift drag and get like a 90-degree copy so that I have something to look at no matter what angle I'm going from. I'm just going to move this one back a bit so I have some room. Alright, so now in these ones I can take off the segments so that they don't show up. They're just a little annoying to have segments on there because I don't want them to be. So I'm going to select this, and from a side view, I don't know why that disappeared. Probably a clipping plane issue or something. Beats me. Should have disappeared. The whole reason I put it over there so I could see it when I'm drawing a silhouette. But anyway, I'll come in here and let's make this convert that to a poly. And I think I'm gonna. So this is currently converted to a polygon. Let's get out of subobject mode and hit the spacebar. There we go. So let's convert these two polys to just for kicks. And maybe we can get away with that not disappearing on us. Alright, so here we go. What I'm going to do is just shape this up. I want to have, this is going to represent right where your clavicles are, right? Your collarbone. So I want this to come down and back, something like that. This is going to represent his lower abdomen, so I'll bring that back. This is going to represent his lower back, so I'll bring it forward. And this is his upper back, kind of trapezius area. I'm going to bring it forward a little bit. If I look at it from a side view, I would take this in. And so since I haven't copied this from side to side yet, I'm just going to scale both sides, bring that in like that. And let's just take these and bring them in a little bit. I'm going to grab this front vert, so only the very front corner right there. I'm going to scale that in like this, and then we'll just take these two verts here, one on either side and one on either side here, and I'm going to scale those in. So I've got something about like that. And then I probably want to do the edges on both sides of the back. So I could do the edges, or I can just grab verts individually. In this case, I'm just grabbing verts. I'm holding control. And I'm just going to scale them slightly just so this is a little bit round. And that's probably all the more I'm going to do with that right at this second. So I'm just shaping the torso. He might be a little bit buffed right now. I could take this whole upper torso and bring it in just slightly, and even take the lower torso and make it even thinner in both directions. He's got kind of a tiny lower torso. And not that he's that buffed in the first place. His chest sticks out a little bit. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to shape this leg coming out of the bottom like we talked about in class, and to do that I want to grab this edge and say ring. I'm going to right click, I'm going to say connect, I'm going to click on the dialog box, excuse me, blah, blah. I'm going to right click, and instead of just clicking connect, I'm going to click on this little box, which is going to give me a line like that. So I'm going to say OK. So you can do things with this, like I can start to use this to help round this out. When I'm looking at his rib cage, if I pull this around, like maybe I bring the center of his rib cage back a little bit. Maybe I'll take these 2 points and bring them out slightly and back slightly. This, I want to kind of go to the center line. Actually, I don't yet. I want to take this over here. I'm kind of ahead of myself. This is going to be where the side of his leg is. So I'll pull this over. Let's take this and pull it back a little bit like that. And this side we're going to pull back about like that. And this one I'll probably pull it forward just a little bit and over a little bit. So we'll grab this and this one and just pull it back. So what I'm going for is kind of a hexagon shape right here for his leg. Okay, I can worry about this other detail later. So right now I'm just going to worry about the leg. I want it to be somewhat hex shaped. I could grab this edge, click on this edge, and I'm just going to scale that in one direction like that, just so it's a little more of a hex shape. And then I'm going to extrude it. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to say extrude, just bring it down just a little bit. I don't need it to be very far. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit W, and I'll take it like all the way down as far as I need it. So I'm looking at how his torso is a little bit longer than his legs. He's got kind of shortish legs compared to his torso. And what I want to do is just have that scaled down. So I want it to be, shrink it down this way, shrink it down that way. So something like that. I'm just going to take this and move it up. So let's go ahead and grab this whole object. Just going to click on this move tool or hit W, either one. I'll move that up. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on the bottom of this again. Right click, say extrude. I'm going to drag this down. That's going to give us a front for his foot. So if I click on these 3 polys, I can right click and say extrude. I'm going to get the dialog box this time. I was planning on maybe changing this to a local normal, but I'm just going to leave it like it is and say OK. So I have something like that. I'm going to grab this front piece and I'm just going to bring it down. And let's just take this and I'm just going to move something like that. I'm going to take the back part of this. So everything but the front, like all the vertices except for those 2 in the front, and I'm just going to move them down. So what that does is it starts to round it out, which is a good thing. So let's take this down maybe just a little bit further, something like that. And let's take this front part of the foot, and well, I think I'll just leave it right there, but I just want to scale it up widthwise. So something like that. And then I'm going to select those faces, and I'm going to do an extrude. So I'll say extrude, and we'll come out a little bit further, and we'll scale this up a little bit further, something like that. And let's take this line, because this looks awful flat right here. See how it just looks like something crushed the front of his foot? So we're going to just take that and move it up, and that's going to give us kind of a slope down. And let's go ahead and grab these lines across the front of his foot, and we'll just say connect. So that'll do something like that, and then we can, if we wanted to, we could grab this line. Let me just say okay, so I get that line we just put in to stay there. Whoops, I didn't say okay before so let's connect that, and then we'll come back. So I just right-clicked. I simply went across all the, I just marquee dragged across all the horizontal lines, and then I right-clicked and said connect. And so what I wanted to do is grab these edges, and maybe I would bring this up a little bit to start to thicken out for the toes. So right now, I want all of this to be pushed back further. So something like that. And let's take this and we'll go down. And eventually those toes will all kind of come up. But for right now, yeah, let's just take this. I'm going to grab these three. We're going to right click and say extrude. Do it again, right click. I must have missed it. Click on there. This time I'm going to say let's do local normal. Excuse me, by polygon. So, and let's just pull it back. So I don't want those toes to be too big. So something like that, and say okay. Whoop, dang it. Missed the OK button and accidentally deselected. Alright, so we have this. Sometimes if you're trying to get something to, like I want to change this, and getting these custom axes, like if I wanted to move this out, if I want to grab this and say I want the bottom of that toe to come out, I'm kind of doing this, and I might get cattywampus there, or like go in the wrong direction there, or if I hold control, I can kind of, it's just really hard to get what I want. So the easiest way, the cheater kind of way, which is not really cheating because there's no such thing, if you can do it better and faster, then you should do it that way. It's not cheating, it's the right way to do it. If you figure out something new, that's the new right way to do it. So what I want to do is I want to extrude this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say extrude. And it goes, you'll notice those go straight out. So that's beautiful. What I want to do now is just grab this edge here and just go straight down. So click, you can see it W2. So I'm starting to kind of have those toes where I want. And what I want to do is just grab this toe right here, and I want to rotate it just a little bit this way and push it in like that, and maybe a little bit forward. So do the same with this one. I'll grab that whole toe. I'm just going to rotate it this way and then push it a little bit in. So what I should have already is kind of a foot shape, and so that's basically what I have so far. So I'm going to call it a day for this one, and I'll see you back and we'll keep working on this guy.